Hello everyone, welcome to RedBusters channel. In this video, we'll look at the recent data that's released by USCIS regarding how many H1B registrations were done in FY 22-24 season. We'll look at some metrics and other aspects. So this is what we'll cover in today's video. We'll look at the background and how many were filed and some trends around that with a lot of graphs and everything. And also we'll review if there'll be a second node lottery. So firstly, the news is coming from USCIS website. So this is official news. So what you see on the screen is actually a screenshot taken from USCIS H1B registration page. So you can check that as well for more information. Now, just to give you a background, if you're new, USCIS conducted H1B lottery on March 27th. They released an official note. In fact, they had the registration period from 1st to 20th, and they extended it to March 17th. The first round lottery was completed using random selection. And also they notified all the employers. So if you haven't still received notification, then it means that you're not been selected. Yeah? And also whoever have been selected in the first round lottery, they can file H1B petition with USCIS from April 1st to June 30th. So this is the quick background. Now, in terms of H1B registrations for FY 22-24 season, USCIS said that in total they had about 780,884 H1B registrations, which means about 781K, right? That's a lot of registrations. So this is the highest ever H1B registrations filed with USCIS in the last since the program is started, right? Of these 781K, there are about 757K that were actually eligible for the lottery. What it means by that is basically the difference about 21K are due to the failed payments or some duplicate registrations or some employers have deleted, right? So that's what it means. And in terms of how many were of the 781K, about 350K were registrations with only one employer. Basically what it means is that, let's say you're an applicant, you only had one job offer from an H1B employer, then you would only file one H1B registrations. So that kind of ones were about 350K. So these people did not file with multiple employers. But in contrast, there were about 409K, about 408,891. All these applicants had more than one offer. Again, how many of them are genuine or not, we keep that matter aside. So basically 409K applicants had multiple offers and they filed using multiple employers. So this is actually a significant increase compared to last year. We look at that metrics as well. In terms of selections, they selected about 110K. Compared to last year they had about slightly higher. So this year they selected slightly lower. We look at that as well. But overall, in terms of this, about 25K over the typical H1B cap of 85K. So this ones they do this for the reason they select more is some of them may not file, some are due to denials and non-filings, etc. So this is a quick summary of the FY24 metrics. In terms of trend, right? So this is a graph that we plotted, right? So if you look at data from 2004 all the way to 2024, you see the graph is going up and up. So back in those days, about 10 years ago, it was pretty low, right? There was not a lot of demand and things like that, but it was over 100K anyways in the last decade or so, but it significantly increased in the last couple of years. The reason is because of this $10 fee, which is very, very less, and the new system, it's easier for everybody. So there are pros and cons, but it's been abused to a crazy extent. So compared to last year, that's a 61% increase in the H1B registrations. In terms of some of the metrics, right? So registrations to availability ratio, so it's about 9.19. What that means is that for every H1B visa slot, there are about 9.19 registrations. Basically for one, there are 9 people who filed for one open slot, which is pretty high, in terms of odds. You have very, very less odds. So that means that your odds of getting selection are very, very low, about 10.89%. What it means is, about, let's say you have 100 people apply, only 11 would be selected in that, right? Close to 11, not even 11. So that's how bad the odds are, right? It is very, very scary if you're an F1 student or, a professional trying to pursue your dreams in America, right? Now, if you compare with last year, this is about 296K, or 297K. There are more that were filed just in this multiple registrations only, right? And overall it is about 61.36 percent increase in the total in registrations compared to last year. So in the previous point, sorry, it is actually 296K in the overall registrations, not just other one. Yeah. And now in terms of selections total, they were about 127K last year, and this year they were 110K. Overall, they selected 16,809 less than last year. The reason for that, they say, is because of two reasons. One is they expect a higher number of people to file a lottery this year. And then they expect that there are less number of slots because of the H1B1 approvals will be higher. So for those of you who are not aware, there is also a carve out of 6,800, means that about 6,800 out of these 85K are taken out and set aside for Singapore and Chile H1B1 program. What they're saying is this year they expect more H1B1s to be filed. So that's why they expect that the total number of available slots also will be less. So that's why they say that they've selected less number of applications. Again, this year they have not released any data related masters or regular split, other things. So that's the thing. In terms of trend, right? So this is, we've took that data that we've been given and we put that as a trend. So this is since the H1B lottery started, and like more or less how many registrations were submitted, how many eligible. So you can read this. This is pretty much self-explanatory. One thing that's alarming is the green line, right, which is the registrations with multiple H1B employers, or people who are filed multiple. That actually is significantly increased in from last year to this year. This is something of real concern. But if you look at the overall eligible registrations, the with only single applicant, that did not go up significantly. It's pretty yellow line, so it's pretty okay. I think this trend tells that there is definitely a lot of fraud involved, and we'll have to see how USCIS will respond to that, right? Also, if you look at that actual data, the plot whatever seen, this is the actual data for the same. You can look at the numbers, but this is the number that 165K last year were multiple, this year 408K. That's a significant jump. This one is okay, marginally 40K increased, which is basically fine. The reason is there are a lot of students who went in for H1B for studying, so that 40K could be accounted for that. But this one is kind of ridiculous, right? But if you see the growth in the people with single H1B filings, with a single employer, it's pretty stable, and they're not like significantly increased. But last 2 years it's gone crazy. So let's see, how USCIS corresponds to that, right? And USCIS guidance on these multiple H1B registrations is very simple. They said that they're also concerned by looking at these multiple registrations. They say that about there were 243K additional were submitted by employers, right? So this is about 147% increase in that. So this is kind of scary for them as well, right? They said that they will do everything to prevent abuse. So in fact, last year they issued a notice of intent to deny for many people who abuse the system. So they say that employers attest that everything is true and there is a genuine offer. But if if they're not following, they'll actually take them. So this is a sample that they sent last year for one of them. It's one of articles. I'll put the link in the description so you can read this. It tells they look at use quite a few data science techniques to figure out without the fraud. So don't be thinking that they can't find. They have enough data to find if they have done fraud. So it's pretty easy for them to find that, and data science is pretty advanced these days. So will there be second lottery, right? This is $1 million question everybody asks every year, and this year there are a lot more people waiting for this. So if you see, last year there was 121K, this year 110K, which is lesser. Again, they have their own reasons, but but this is definitely something to think of for second lottery. But if you look at the multiple registrations, they're pretty high, very, very high compared to last year. And the economy is also not that great, for some tech workers, the economy is not really great for tech workers. So some may back out who had offers back in, in February. So we are now in April. So when they filed, this was in February, March. So we don't know, things have changed. There could be a lot of fraud, because just looking at the numbers, there could be a lot of fraud. So many of these could be wasted, right? So, all these, right, basically the hunch tells that there could be a second round lottery. The data also points that there could be a second round lottery, but the amount of selections could be low, but the hunch says that there could be a second round lottery. So again, we'll see what happens. So let's see. Again, thank you for watching. Do subscribe for getting regular updates.